There are hundreds of thousands of properties sitting on real estate web portals, but when a buyer sees a property advertised in print, they know the vendor isn't just testing the market, but is truly committed to selling. In other words, a serious vendor attracts a serious buyer.
Tim Lawless is a research director for RP Data. What they do is analyse real estate statistical information. They look at prices, they look at clearance rates, they also look at how many days on market it takes to sell a property, and they essentially have every transaction across Australia, and they manipulate that data and find out answers to questions that people like to know about real estate, such as, you know, what is the clearance rate at that time, or what the median price is in a suburb.
I caught up with Tim to ask him how vendors should set their selling price and about the unique love affair Australians have with property.
How are you? Very well. It's good to see you. Now, with all this information and knowledge that you've got about property, you must see trends. Do Australians have a love affair with real estate?
Well, a really good statistic is the fact that Australians have about 60% of their wealth tied up in property, much more so than you'll find in other comparable countries like the US or the UK, or even New Zealand for that matter. So investment in property in Australia is a very popular way to, I suppose, build up your investment portfolio, much more so than say, the share market, for example. For the simple reason being that it's fairly straightforward. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to invest in property. It's all about location, and it's all about timing as well, making sure you're buying and selling at appropriate times. Normally, when people actually buy and sell a property, they're holding on to that particular home for at least 7 years.
Right.
So you're finding it is a very long-term investment as opposed to the share market, where you're generally buying and selling in fairly short time frames.
Thank you. Someone thinking of selling a property would have to set a price on what's realistic in the marketplace. How does a seller set their asking price?
Realistic is probably the key word there. Setting a realistic price or a reasonable price is one of the most important aspects of selling a property. Now, the best way to set a reasonable price or a realistic price is to work with a reputable real estate agent. Now, most real estate agents are going to have access to RP data, and they can look at what's sold in the area over time, so you can find comparable sales. In addition to that, they should also be looking at what's currently on the marketplace, because what's available for sale is what, I suppose, prospective buyers will be comparing your property to. So having a look at what's for sale in the marketplace and what has recently sold are the best ways to set your selling price.
So should you allocate some sort of money towards marketing?
The general rule of thumb is that you should allow about 1% of your expected sale price for your overall marketing budget. This is your one opportunity to sell an asset, your principal place of residence. You don't get any capital gains on it, and the higher price you can get for the home through a decent marketing campaign, choosing a reputable agent, and actually making sure you're getting the best possible price for your home is going to maximise your sale dollar.
So the first steps in getting the best price for your home is to research your area. Select the best agent and work with them to set your price. Now you'll have to prepare your home for sale and then commence a marketing campaign. We're going to meet Karen McCartney now. Karen's been working with design and style for over 20 years, both in the UK and here in Australia. She's written about architecture and is currently the editorial director of leading Australian homemaker magazine, Inside Out.
What's the first thing you should do when you're getting your home ready for sale?
I think the very first thing that you should do when you're getting your home ready for sale is to disassociate yourself from your home, because it's been such a personal place for you and your family for so long. But really, in selling it, you're turning it into a marketable commodity, so you've got to start by thinking about it differently.
What about street appeal?
Street appeal is really crucial, because as people drive up to a house, they need to imagine themselves in there. I mean, buying a house is an enormous investment, but more than anything, it is a lifestyle choice. So you want that person to feel, this is me, I want to live here, I want to be here. And so to that end, you've got to be really careful about colour choices on the facade. You don't want something that looks dated, so it may well be worth repainting in contemporary colours.
With Karen is Margie Attard, who is a property stylist from Cocoa Republic. And we've come to a block of units where one has been styled and one hasn't.
Where would you begin with an apartment like this?
Well, I think this is a great example of why to style a property. As you can see, it's very cold, very uninviting, and most people just wouldn't know where to put their furniture.
So this is a fantastic example of the kind of thing you do at Cocoa Republic.
It most certainly is. Cocoa Republic offer a complete styling service or a partial styling service, which is called an integration. A complete styling service is what we've done here and what you can see, where this property was completely empty and we brought in absolutely everything. All the furniture, the accessories, the artwork, bed linen, beds, kitchen product and bathroom product.
It looks lovely, and it's got that very nice tonal but textured palette. Is that something you consciously sought to achieve?
That's very important. We do tend to keep our schemes fairly neutral, so it does appeal to everyone.
And this is lovely and low, so it does very much draw the view into the room. Is that an intentional?
Yeah, that's actually a really important part. We do tend to keep furniture low in a situation like this because obviously we've got this great view that we don't want to block.
It also feels quite roomy. Is that something that people who aren't having a styling service should think about when preparing their own home for sale?
Definitely. It's now a question of putting it on the market. We're going to have lots of people coming through. Put away all your personal effects. Declutter, which is a huge thing. People don't want to see all the photos that you've collected over 20 years. It's very important that people are able to move around an apartment or a home and not feel like it's restricted. If they're doing it themselves, I think keep the palette neutral. And if you're going to add in colour, do that with your accessories and your throws.
We've now met industry experts and spoken with vendors who've achieved great prices. From this, we've learnt there are 7 steps to a successful sale. Be positive, proactive, and embrace this rare opportunity to make tax-free money. Find out what homes in your area are selling for, select a good agent and work exclusively in collaboration with them. Set your price and agree on a sales strategy. Make sure your home looks great and consider getting help from a stylist. Allocate a budget of around 1% of your expected price for marketing. Advertise your property in a broad range of media, including newspapers and the internet.
Remember, selling your home is a great opportunity to make a tax-free capital gain. My advice is to embrace the opportunity and make sure you sell it for what it's worth.